Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Corky Wakes Up Late and Panics After Missing Breakfast Time. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. The sun was already glowing softly through the curtains when I opened my eyes. But strangely, the room was quiet. Too quiet. Normally, my cat Corky would have been bouncing on my chest, meowing urgently like a tiny alarm clock demanding immediate attention. But this morning, silence. Suspicious silence. I looked around and finally spotted him. Corky was still curled up in a fluffy orange ball at the very edge of the bed, snoring softly. His tail twitched like he was dreaming of chasing imaginary birds. I checked the time, and my eyes widened. He had overslept. Badly. The moment I whispered, "Corky, breakfast?" his eyes shot open. In a split second, his fur puffed up like he had touched electricity. He looked at me, then at the door, then back at me. He gasped. Well, as much as a cat can gasp. Then he let out the most dramatic MREOW I had ever heard. He leaped off the bed so fast he slid across the floor like a hockey puck. I could almost hear him thinking, I missed breakfast? Impossible. Unacceptable. Cat laws have been broken. His little panic made the morning feel like a comedy sketch. And honestly, I couldn't stop laughing as I followed him to the kitchen. Corky's paws tapped wildly on the floor as he bolted ahead of me, tail sticking straight up like an exclamation mark. When he reached the kitchen, he skidded to a stop and spun dramatically to stare at his food bowl. It was empty, because we hadn't had breakfast yet. But to Corky, it might as well have been a tragic scene from an emotional drama. He walked in circles, mumbling little meows to himself. Then he started pawing the cabinet where his food was stored, glancing back at me repeatedly, as if saying, Look, evidence. This is where the food goes. Why is it not in my bowl? When I finally opened the cabinet, he rose onto his hind legs like a tiny meerkat. His eyes sparkled with hope. The moment I touched the bag, he let out a joyful chirp, a victory sound. It was like watching someone celebrate winning the lottery. As I prepared his breakfast, Corky paced back and forth like a cat-sized manager supervising an employee who is late, slow, and clearly needs better training. When I set the bowl down, he dove into it with the enthusiasm of someone who believed he had survived a near-death experience. Watching him eat with pure relief made the whole kitchen feel alive with adorable chaos. Somehow, Corky's dramatic morning disaster turned into the cutest start to the day. After breakfast, Corky finally calmed down. He sat on the floor, licking his paws as if trying to regain dignity. Every few seconds, he glanced up at me with a look that said, Forget that ever happened. But then he curled up in my lap, purring loudly, probably relieved that the world was back to normal. I made my coffee while Corky followed me slowly, now walking with the lazy confidence of a cat whose belly was full again. He hopped onto the couch, stretched dramatically, and plopped down like a soft, warm loaf of bread. His eyelids drooped. Breakfast panic had drained his energy. As I started my morning tasks, Corky watched me from the couch, blinking slowly. He looked peaceful, cozy, and absolutely unbothered, as if the morning chaos never happened. And honestly, seeing him relax made me relax too. His little presence grounded the whole atmosphere of the house. By the time I was getting ready to leave, Corky was already drifting back to sleep. But just before he dozed off completely, he opened one eye, gave me a tiny MRRP, and stretched his paw toward me, as if saying, Have a good day, and don't forget tomorrow's breakfast. Corky's late-waking chaos may seem like just a funny morning story, but hidden inside his tiny panic are surprisingly relevant lessons for modern life. First, Corky reminds us that routines matter. Even though he overslept, the moment he realized he missed breakfast, his instincts kicked in. He knew what was important, and he focused on it immediately. In our own lives, sticking to small daily habits, like waking up on time, eating properly, or setting a simple morning routine, can create stability in a world that often feels unpredictable. Second, Corky's dramatic reaction shows how easy it is to panic when we feel like we're falling behind. But once he got what he needed, he calmed down instantly. This teaches us that most worries in life are temporary. Instead of stressing endlessly, we can take one small step at a time, solve the issue in front of us, and the anxiety fades naturally. Finally, Quirky's ability to relax afterward is a reminder that we shouldn't hold onto mistakes or embarrassing moments. He didn't spend the rest of the day sulking about waking up late. He moved on, with a full stomach and a happy purr. For us, too, it's important to forgive ourselves, reset, and keep going with a lighter heart.